There are empires that never made it into textbooks. Kingdoms wiped out before history could learn their names. They ruled vast lands, they held wealth beyond imagination. And then, they vanished, leaving behind nothing but chilling mysteries. One question still echoes today: who erased them, and why? These are the shadow empires of Europe. Civilizations buried in time, and their secrets refuse to stay silent. Where East meets West, an unlikely empire once stood: Dacia. These were not mere barbarians as Rome claimed, but masters of the richest gold reserves the empire ever coveted. Rome conquered them, but when Dacia fell, most of that gold was gone. To this day, no one knows where the Dacians hid it or whether they planned to return for it. These weren't just simple mines, they were a complex network of tunnels deep within the Carpathian Mountains, a labyrinth known only to the Dacians themselves. Modern explorers, armed with advanced technology, still search for this legendary treasure. Flashlight beams cut through the dark, hitting ancient tunnels that twist into the earth. Was this gold simply a war prize hidden in a panic? Or was it a strategic reserve meant to fund a future rebellion, an empire in exile waiting to rise again? The Romans left detailed records of their military campaigns, but on the matter of the Dacian gold, they are mysteriously silent. It's as if the treasure and the truth were swallowed by the mountains themselves. The mystery doesn't just lie in where the gold is, but in what it represented, a symbol of a culture so fiercely independent that even in defeat, it refused to surrender its most precious resource. Its absence is a quiet testament to a people who chose to let their wealth disappear rather than see it fall into the hands of their conquerors. Farther north, in the misty forests of the Baltics, the forgotten strongholds of Samogitian resisted the Northern Crusades. Holy armies, the Teutonic Knights, were determined to convert or conquer them. For nearly 200 years, this small, resilient pagan nation stood against one of the most powerful military orders in Europe. But Samogitian refused to yield. They built walls not to be remembered by history, but to die with what they believed. Their fortresses, often constructed from earth and timber, were designed for defiance, not for grandeur. Each hillfort was a bastion of a faith and a way of life that the rest of Europe was determined to extinguish. War flames lit the northern skies. The screams of battle and the clash of steel echoed through the forests. Today, those walls remain, though not as you might expect. They weren't destroyed by war, but erased by those who wrote the history of the victors. The Chronicles of the Knights describe the Samogitians as savage heathens, their resistance a foolish obstacle to progress and faith. But what if their fight was something more? What if it was a desperate stand to protect a world of ancient gods and traditions? The victors wrote the story, and in their story there was no room for a heroic pagan kingdom. The memory of Samogitian was intentionally buried, its legacy reduced to a footnote in the grand narrative of Christian expansion. On the Iberian Peninsula, a civilization once lit Europe's path out of the Dark Ages. Al-Andalus. This was a world of science, medicine, and astronomy, centuries ahead of its time. In cities like Cordoba and Granada, scholars of different faiths worked together, translating ancient texts and making groundbreaking discoveries. They developed advanced surgical instruments, mapped the stars with incredible accuracy, and wrote philosophical treatises that would later fuel the European Renaissance. Dreamlike architecture with intricate patterns and serene courtyards still stands today, a testament to a golden age of learning and culture. But when the Reconquista, the Christian reconquest of Spain, reached its end, this world was extinguished. Thousands of advanced scientific and philosophical works were gathered and burned in massive pyres. These books weren't destroyed because they were wrong. They were destroyed because they knew too much. The new rulers feared the knowledge they couldn't control, the ideas that challenged their worldview. As the ash of those priceless manuscripts rose into the sky like forgotten whispers, an entire library of human achievement turned to smoke. What medical cures? What astronomical secrets? What philosophical insights were lost forever in those flames? It was a deliberate act of cultural annihilation, an attempt to erase a legacy that was deemed too brilliant, too different, and too powerful to be allowed to exist. The world we live in today was shaped not only by the knowledge we saved, but by the knowledge we purposefully destroyed. Just off the coast of Naples, hidden beneath the waves of the Mediterranean, lies Bai. This wasn't just another Roman city. It was the dark, opulent playground of Rome's most powerful elite. Emperors, senators, and generals came here to indulge in pleasures and plots far from the public eye of Rome. It was a city of secrets, political puppeteering, and conspiracies that could make or break an empire. Luxurious villas, built with underwater hot springs, lined the coast. This was where fortunes were schemed, rivals were poisoned, and the fate of the known world was decided in steam-filled rooms and lavish parties. Then, the earth shifted. A volcanic heartbeat shook the land. Bradicism, the gradual rising and falling of the ground, caused this city of sin and power to sink, sealing its secrets beneath the waves. Today, divers glide through its submerged ruins, revealing crumbling columns, mosaic floors, and mysterious ceremonial chambers. What rituals took place here? What dark agreements were made in these halls, now reclaimed by the sea? Some historians believe Baia's submersion wasn't just a natural disaster. It was a convenient one. It buried evidence of corruption and decadence that could have destabilized the Roman state. What happened in Bai that Rome, and perhaps even nature itself, wanted buried forever? It's silent. Underwater ruins hold answers that time has tried very hard to keep. In the heart of Europe, the Avar Khaganate once ruled a vast territory from modern-day Austria to the Black Sea for over 2 centuries. They were a dominant force, a shadow empire whose influence was felt across the continent. Yet, their origins remain unknown. Their language is lost. We don't know where they came from or what they called themselves. They arrived as if from nowhere, built a powerful empire defended by their legendary cavalry, and then, just as mysteriously, they disappeared from history. The only records we have of them were written by their enemies, the Franks and the Byzantines, who portrayed them as nomadic plunderers. But archaeological discoveries tell a different story. The Avars were master blacksmiths and goldsmiths, and their graves are filled with stunningly intricate artifacts, suggesting a rich and stable culture. So why did they vanish? After a series of defeats, their empire collapsed, and its people were seemingly absorbed into the surrounding populations, their identity dissolving completely. If you want to control history, you only need to control the storyteller. The Avars left no books, no chronicles of their own. Their story was told for them, and it was a story that served the interests of those who conquered them. Their disappearance is a chilling reminder that an entire civilization can be erased, not just by the sword, but by the pen. Europe wasn't built only by the empires we celebrate, like Rome and Greece. It was also built by the ones we chose to forget. The grand victories we honor often stand atop stories that have been buried in silence, their voices deliberately muffled by time and power. The map of our past is not complete. It's dotted with the scars of missing history, the ghosts of civilizations that were deemed inconvenient, dangerous, or simply on the losing side. History isn't everything that happened. It's everything we were allowed to remember. So, as we stand in the present, looking back at what we think we know, the real question remains: what else have we buried? Thanks for watching. If you want to uncover more secrets hidden in the past, make sure to subscribe.